Hello, this is Liliana Franco Rodriguez and I'm going to do the presentation for the final task for the subject research project. The topic is about fossilization, but what's fossilization? It's an error, very common in second language acquisition. It's a permanent lack of mastery of the target language. Despite continuous exposure to it and sufficient opportunity to practice and motivation. In Medellin, a city located in Colombia, some people try to learn the English language, and the issue is that in Medellin there's a poor exposure to the English language because there's a little influence from English speakers here. So it is very easy to fall into mistakes, even in pronunciation or in grammar mistakes. That situation happens a lot when the instruction comes from an informal institution or if the instruction is informal itself. Speaking about some English teacher, it is necessary that they provide the proper transference to the students, a good pronunciation and a good spelling. But however, some English teachers haven't lived in an English spoken country, but they need to be aware, they need to study, they need to teach properly the English, to pronounce well. They need to avoid falling into pronunciation mistakes. This study is significant because fossilization cannot be a natural part of the person's speech. The second language must be learned correctly with no grammar mistakes or errors in pronunciation, and the skills must be improved every time. Well, here we have the objectives. The general objective is to develop certain strategies that would help to reduce fossilization in students in private institutions in Medellin. This brings some other objectives that will help us in any teaching process, and these are to explore how conscious and aware of mistakes the students are, and to examine the strategies that work best to reduce fossilized errors as well. The literature review. The first person to provide an explanation about what the term fossilization means was Selinker. This is a type of non-learning that represents a permanent state of mind or behavior, particular linguistic items that L1 speakers try to keep in their intermediate language, no matter what the age of the learner or the amount of the explanations and instructions. Lightbound also said that fossilization happens when the learner has satisfied the need for communication in the target language. And there's another person, which is Gardner. He expresses that a motivated person has a strong desire of learning properly and will strive for succeed in his or her learning process. Well, here we have some theories. The theories that I considered for this study are two. The first one is the input hypothesis. This theory was developed by Stephen Krashen. Who's he? He's a PhD in linguistics, and he says that we acquire language by going for meaning first. And then, as a result, we acquire structures. If the communication is successful, we can move from this stage to the next level, and so on. This process continues on and on, from one stage to the other. But the final part of the input hypothesis is that speaking fluency cannot be taught directly. The production ability emerges over time, and it is provided through comprehensible input. That means that the person acquires the language when he or she understands it. The other theory is the affective filter hypothesis. This one states how affective factors are related with success in second language acquisition. There are three variables. The first one is motivation. Individuals with high motivation generally do better in second language acquisition. The other variable is self-confidence. And the third one is anxiety. But in what point? A low anxiety brings second language acquisition. A low or weak affective filter will lead students to be more open to the input, to obtain a great deal of comprehensible input and yet reduce fossilization. When there's a study done in 2018, this study was done with adults having a professional degree. The researcher used two strategies: self-monitoring strategy and self-evaluation. But what's self-monitoring strategy? That means checking the student's speech for accuracy in pronunciation, and self-evaluation is checking the student's own language learning. The tools the researcher used were field notes, recording the students' voices by using a Web 2.0, which was Vocaroo.com. What were the results? The participants showed an improvement on the degree of self-repairs. The degree of attention the students have on their language could affect the degree of self-repairs. What's the hypothesis? That ESL students with a higher level of motivation can do a conscious process to reduce their fossilized errors by focusing in their mistakes. These people can apply several techniques to tackle their errors, such as recording and transcription of them, grammar exercises, and correction of sentences that have errors, so they identify the mistakes. What's the research methodology? This is a descriptive investigation that will collect data through observation, written notes, and voice recordings. Transcription of the recording, video recordings when speaking about different topics and when doing presentations about any topics. The respondents will be ESL students of a private institution in Medellin. These students are doing intermediate level, which is B1 level. They are approximately 80 students. The first step will be observation of classes. These are the references, and thanks for watching.